Hey everybody, it's Denise back with Keto with Denise, and today we're going to talk about the reasons why you're hungry on keto. I get this question a lot. You can imagine, right? People say, I start the keto diet and I'm always hungry and I'm always starving. Well, that right there will tell you there's a problem, because you should not be hungry on keto, nor should you be craving. So let's take a look at the top 5 reasons why you may be hungry while doing the keto diet. Number 1 reason, you may be doing it wrong. That's true. A lot of people think that, oh, I'm just going to do keto. I'm cutting back on my carbs and that's going to be enough. Not so fast. Let's take a look at this. When we talk about keto, remember, we said keto is 5% veggies, 5% carbs. This is our healthy keto approach. 20% protein and 70% fats. The reason this is the number 1 reason, most people are not doing that. I ask them, well, tell me, how many cups of vegetables are you eating a day? Maybe 2, 3. Wrong. Okay. Next thing I ask, well, how many carbs are you getting? Well, I don't count my carbs. How do you know you're not eating too many? We'll talk about that one in a minute. Then I said, well, how much protein are you getting? Not tracking it. So you're doing it wrong. You want to make sure that you stay within these ratios, and you know that you're within those ratios. So understand what it means when we say healthy keto, but making sure that when you're sitting down to eat, whether it's 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day, or 1 meal a day, that you are incorporating the right macros, the right amount of macros, the right amount of food. So number 1, know how to do keto, healthy keto, correctly. Don't be upside down where you're eating a whole lot of meat, no vegetables. That won't work. Okay? So that's the number 1 reason. Understand how to properly do keto. Number 2, not eating enough fats. This one is big. And the reason people are not eating enough fat is because, 1, they're not tracking the fats and getting the great or good sources of healthy fat. They're not tracking it to know, and they could be grossly under, where you might have to be targeting 100 grams of fat and you're only getting 40 grams of fat. You're going to be hungry on keto. Remember, fat is where you're getting energy. You're no longer burning sugar. Your body is no longer looking for sugar. It's going to use that fat for energy, and it's going to burn fat. So that's going to keep you satiated. That's going to keep you full. Fat is more dense than protein and carbs. So get your fats in. And all of this is going to come down to one global issue, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Next one, too many carbs. The more sugar you eat, the more sugar the body wants, and the cravings will come. Trust me when I tell you that that'll keep you hungry on keto, always looking for something else when you just ate. It's the carbs. Your body burned that off. Now it's looking for more. So you need to know how many carbs you're actually taking in. This one is interesting. Eating too frequently. Remember, we got away from, with keto, we don't do those 5 meals a day anymore. Okay, that's out. We're doing 3 times, 2 times, or 1 time a day. So if you're eating constantly, snacking in between, then you're going to be hungry. Why? Because you're spiking insulin, and the body says, hey, you know what? I'm done with that. Give me more. Especially if you're taking in carbs and not enough fat with that as well. Okay? Reason number 5, not eating enough. You got to eat on the keto program. This is not a starvation way of eating. We don't starve ourselves. Matter of fact, you hear people saying, how am I going to eat all of this food? Because you're taking in your 7 to 10 cups of vegetables, plus your 3 ounces to 6 ounces of protein per meal, and then you're taking in your quantity of fats. You've got to measure that out and monitor that out throughout your day so that you're eating enough. And if the body doesn't get enough food, then it's going to look for energy in other ways, and you'll start to crave and be hungry. So these top 5 reasons, I find it consistently the same reasons with all of my clients that are struggling in this area. So what is it really boiling down to? One common denominator, and I'll write it out like this: not tracking what you're eating. If you can read that, and if you're guilty of it, then let me tell you this, you can solve it by tracking what you're eating, at least until you get into the habit of knowing your common everyday foods and what's in them in terms of fats, proteins, and carbs. Until then, you're not ready to go and wing it. You're not ready to guess at it. Start tracking it so you'll know the makeup of your food. You'll know you've got in your 7 to 10 cups of veggies because you measured the cup of veggies, right? You'll know that you got in your 5% carbs, which is generally anywhere we say between 20 and 50 grams of carbs per day. 50 is for the folks who are trying to maintain weight. We go below that when we're trying to lose the weight, and even below 20 in some cases. I do less than 20 grams of carbs plenty of times when I'm doing one meal a day. So unless I'm tracking it, I'm guessing at it. So you got to track it, folks, right? And then when you look at all of these issues, did I get enough protein? Did I get too much protein? Because remember, we said too much protein, the liver is insulin is going to spike in your body if you're taking in too much protein. And then when we look at the fat, you need fat to burn fat. You'll hear me say that in almost every video because that's what works. And you need the fat for the energy too, and it makes you feel full. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Hi, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And by the way, click the bell too so that you'll be notified when there's new content like this. Thank you again for watching.